All right, I'm done. John McAfee now joins us. McAfee, of course, was a top programmer at NASA's Institute for Space Studies in New York City from 68 to 70. From there, he went to UNIVAC as a software designer, and then later to Xerox as an operating systems architect. In 87, McAfee founded McAfee Associates, a computer antivirus company. He was the first to distribute antivirus software using the shareware business model. In 89, he quit Lockheed and began working full-time for McAfee Associates, which he initially operated from his home in Santa Clara, California. 2 years after McAfee Associates went public, McAfee sold his remaining stake in the company, now a subsidiary of Intel Corporation. McAfee's now developed new cutting-edge antivirus, anti-surveillance systems. And he joins us today as a special website he wants to talk about to send folks for a new campaign to promote liberty. But he can give us the rest of the story. He's backtracked it on exactly what is happening with these mystery towers that we know some are Homeland Security, some are FBI, some are private, some are Stingray. But he's ferreted into the contracts themselves and discovered something. What's amazing is they sit up here like we're ignorant and go, we don't know what these towers are on CBS News, the FBI. They must be hackers. No, we got the documents in Seattle and other cities. They're Homeland Security. They're illegally stealing everything, and they have microphones listening to you. And Buckley Hammond filed a report. But we're going to skip this network break so we have plenty of time with John McAfee. John, first off, what's the best website of your constellation of sites for folks to go to with this new campaign to legalize freedom, as Ron Paul says? And then I want to get into this. And then also, you've been warning folks about the cloud. I want to get your breakdown on what was Kate Upton and all these women thinking, putting up their photos, their naked photos, their sex vids on a cloud, on a faraway server. What were they thinking, John McAfee?
Thank you, Alex. It's good to be here. I'd like to say I'm joining you from the office of a junkyard in the Appalachian Mountains of Southwest Virginia because the software I'm using to connect to you, Skype, is insecure and can be tracked to me within a couple of hours. And by the time I'm tracked, I'll be away from here. The first thing I want to talk about, Alex, is 2.5 weeks ago, it was discovered that there were 17 cell towers in the southeast actually, that were fake cell towers. They were, rather than transmitting phone calls directly to who you were talking to, they were planting software on the devices that you were using to connect. In the past 2.5 weeks, myself and my people have tracked down exactly what's happening. And there is only one company that manufactures this hardware. And it's mobile. You don't have to actually put a cell tower beside the road or on top of a mountain. You can put it in the back of your car and put an antenna on the top of your car and be anywhere. And they look and sound exactly like real cell towers. These devices are manufactured by the Harris Corporation in Florida, near Palm Bay, Florida. They're the only company that manufactures them. And they have a contract with all of their customers saying that the customer cannot talk about where they bought the equipment from or the fact that they own this equipment. Now, when I discovered this, I thought, that's really strange. Why would they do that? The only reason I can think of is that there are so many of them that if the American public knew to the extent that they were being spied on, we would actually, all get up in arms and do something about it. Well, I'm trying to do something about it. I've started a campaign called Legalize Freedom. You can go to Legalize Freedom Campaign at blogspot.com and read about it. What I'm trying to do, Alex, is get every town in America, at least one person who will volunteer using the Freedom of Information Act to demand to know what local law enforcement people are using. Are they using this equipment? And how many do they have? I suspect there are hundreds of thousands of these units here in America. Their only purpose, Alex, is to spy on us. They will transfer a call as if it's transparent, but at the same time, they plant on your device a piece of software which monitors every single call that you make, which reads all of your emails, all of your text messages, your contacts, and everything that you're doing. It turns on the camera, turns on the microphone. You are now watched 24 hours a day. Now, that came out 2.5 weeks ago, these 17 cell towers. It got some play in the technical press, but then it just disappeared. No one checked into it. My people and I discovered who it is, the fact that they have these contracts, and I do suspect everywhere in America we have these things, which means that all of us are being spied on constantly, Alex.
And, of course, we then have parallel construction where they use the stolen data, the stolen video, audio, your whole databases that they scoop up, put software on your phone to basically control it. They then go lie to judges and don't even tell them where they got the fake evidence from. I mean, this is organized racketeering on the grandest scale ever seen.
Absolutely. And basically, Harris Corporation only sells to the U.S. government, the military covert agencies, the CIA, local law enforcement. And here's where the problem occurs, Alex, is once it gets in the hands of local law enforcement, you know for a fact that no matter what technology you have, if enough official people have access to it, the unofficial, the crooks, the thieves, the gangsters are going to have access to it as well. So not only are we being spied on by our governments, by the local police agencies, by the CIA, by our tax agencies, by everyone, it's now getting into the hands of the average criminal. You can buy one of these devices for less than $100,000. Install it in your car. You don't need much technical competence, and you can plant software. If you had one of these devices beside a freeway, you could infect tens of thousands of mobile devices every single day. And if we have hundreds of thousands of these devices here in America, then none of us have privacy ever. Once they have the ability to turn on your camera and your microphone, if your daughter has a waterproof phone and she's taking a shower, they can watch. If you're talking to a business partner, they can hear everything that you say. We have no privacy whatsoever. And what I want to do, Alex, is to demonstrate the depth that they have gone. If, in fact, there are thousands of these devices and possibly millions, certainly at some point we'll have to say, it's enough. I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore. Or have we gone over the edge and nobody gives a shit anymore?
Now, people do care, John. It's just that it seems to be so overwhelming that you could have an organized program, not just with Stingray. I mean, you're right, that's the big thing nationwide, but we got documents last year from inside the government in Seattle that caused a national news story, and the city council ordered it turned off. Of course, that never happened, where they put up fake cell towers, their own systems, microphones, camera systems, you name it, and we're running it through Homeland Security, through the local police department, even though it hadn't even been authorized. And then, again, they're stealing everybody's data, using it for prosecutions. They can also use it to plant stuff on phones or computers, as you've pointed out, Trojan horse people. And then they go lie in the affidavits. They go lie to the grand juries and don't even tell them where the evidence came from. I mean, this totally destroys the entire judicial system. You can't believe anything the feds say, and now the local departments are getting this. And for folks that don't know, let me give everybody a news flash. The people buy most of their drugs from the police in most big cities, at least units of them. Or you buy special equipment, guns, you name it, from cops.
Of course.
Okay? And, you know, so much of this stuff continues to come out. And so, yes, they already do have organized crime with this stuff. There already are organized crime hacking into people's things. This is a Pandora's box they have opened.
Right. The purpose, the government wants to do one thing. All governments will eventually do the same thing. They want absolute control over the citizenry. In ancient times, they controlled people by keeping them in poverty and giving them entertainment. In ancient Rome, everyone was in poverty, but they had the Colosseum. They could all go and get entertainment every single day. That's how they controlled the citizenry. Today, people are controlled through information. If the government knows where every citizen is at every moment of the day, if they know who you're talking to, if they know what you're talking about, if they know your dreams, your desires, if they know your inner secret life, which you divulge to at least some people, your wife, your children, your mother, your father, then they control you. And we have reached the point, Alex, where someone can turn a switch, and we have gotten into the world's worst dictatorship. I'm not saying that the administration has a global plan to do this, and they're all secretly talking about it behind closed doors. But no, you know what's coming. You know for a fact that once we are controlled, once we have no freedom of anything, when the government knows everything about us, someone's going to go, gee, we can use this. Why don't we just throw that switch and take...
But I've interviewed William Binney and all the other top NSA people. They say they've been using it for blackmail forever, everything you're saying, that it's now going panopticonic, surveilling everything, that it was premeditatedly designed for this, and that Snowden says they have data that would bring the whole government down. We know it's that the government basically ran 9/11. It's now coming out in the 28 pages with Saudi Arabia. We now know that it's indeed the government runs the narcotics, the snuff films, the little kids, everything. The organized crime runs the government at the top and set this up criminally to control the public and take over everything. This is an orchestrated worldwide takeover. I mean, look at Apple with factories with suicide nets and literal forced abortions. But again, they act liberal and talk with a lisping voice, so it's okay. I mean, these people know what they're doing, John. And you have absolutely broke down how serious it was. But William Binney called it premeditated totalitarian total takeover, or 1984 on steroids. Those are all quotes by him. And it is that. Complete with helicopters and armored vehicles and checkpoints and forced inoculations and your kids don't belong to you and neighbors spying on neighbors. I mean, my God. Clergy response teams, InfraGard, spies everywhere. They have done it, and now the public is finding out it's all there. Before the establishment wanted it known, what do you think about the state of the world and where this is going?
Well, I think the problem is, Alex, people are afraid. I mean, I'm sitting and talking about it. I'm in an office at a junkyard in the middle of nowhere because I'm afraid of people retaliating. Fox News, I gave Fox News the opportunity to break this story. They thought that's great until they discovered that Harris Corporation was the corporation which, you know, has donated more to, in fact, they used to have their own television station, and they said, no, you know, we'll back away from this. People are afraid. You know, I'm afraid, really. You should be afraid. You know for a fact that what I'm saying now and what you're saying now is not liked by the people in power. And at some point, you know, maybe they're going to take some kind of action. And worse than an audit, you know, because that's the first thing they do. They audit you mercilessly. And then maybe you get vague threats. You know, maybe people disappear. But somebody has to speak out, Alex. That's the number one step. No one's doing it. We are all safe and secure in our womb. We have the technology at our fingertips to have pizzas delivered whenever we want. The world is at our fingertips, but we have no freedom. The freedom was taken away by these very technological devices that we depend on.
That's right, and they're going to take the chicken feed and the bait away. There's a piece of cheese out there on that mousetrap, but it's only to lure you in. And here's my issue. Most people in the government are actually freaked out by this as well. They don't like being brought into this conspiracy, this racketeering. They want to get out of it. It's not here to keep us safe. Our own government's funding al-Qaeda. That's all coming out, funding ISIS. People are really concerned, and they realize the only hope we've got is to say no to this and stop it. We should all be afraid of not doing what you're doing, John. Going public, what Ron Paul's doing, going public, what we're doing, what Drudge is doing. We've all got to speak out against this because it's crazy.
Well, people are saying things, Alex, like, well, it doesn't really matter if they know what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything wrong. That attitude is the most self-destructive attitude I can possibly imagine. It doesn't matter if you're doing something wrong. Who cares? I don't want you in my business, whether I'm doing something right or
Well, John,
something.
That's like the people that would put, I'm going to Mexico for Christmas for a week and a half. We leave tomorrow and come back such and such. Look at all the stuff we got at Christmas. We got a new silver set. And then the thieves use it to rob your house. It's like saying, I'll get in a car because I have nothing to fear. It's Ted Bundy. It's not that you're a nice 16-year-old girl, so what do you have to fear? It's that Ted Bundy just pulled up. Ted Bundy. Okay, John Wayne Gacy, Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Jeffrey Dahmer runs the New World Order. It's like, who cares if Sauron's Palantir can see what I'm doing? It's Sauron. It's bad. A bad guy an article
or a special report about why surveillance kills.
It's Superman technology for tyrants to dominate humanity and to change our free will. And John McAfee, the famous antivirus software guru who evaded the now proven corrupt officials connected into terrorism down in Belize, joins us. And I'm kind of ranting here today about what you're discussing, tracking back the contract. I knew Stingray was one of the units that's being bought with Harris Communications and the rest of it. But I didn't know that it's in the contract. They can't reveal it. But isn't that funny? It's like Monsanto saying, it's in the contract, you can't reveal that this killed monkeys, glyphosate was tested on, or it's in the contract that, and so there's cops and FBI on news going, we don't know who these are, must be hackers. Then they just walk off like they would leave a hacker's fake telephone pole up that looks like a cactus. I mean, this is how dumb they think we are. Then we even get the documents they're doing it. And now they're adding, John, as you know, microphones that listen to people. And now they're adding face scanning cameras. I mean, there's no end to it where the government literally is engaging in felony activities and lying to us. What happens if they don't get in trouble, John?
Well, they conveniently sign these contracts because it gives them an out. You know, well, they can't talk about it. We can't say we have them because we're legally bound not to talk about it. By the way, that lung cleanse, I need some of that. I started smoking, Alex, when the anti-smoking laws became so draconian that I just couldn't not smoke. I felt sorry for these tiny crowds of people huddled together in these 10 by 10 areas trying to smoke. So I started smoking.
So you're a contrarian, not just a rebel.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, at some point, even if you disagree with what's happened, with what a person is doing, you've got to do something to stand up for their rights to do it. In fact, I formed a society called the Social Pariahs. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, you can check us out, where we're supporting people who do these things which are socially undesirable or not politically correct. Because, you know, I don't care. I literally started smoking when I was at an airport in Atlanta, and I saw these poor people out in the cold, huddled together, desperately trying to get their last puff. And I thought, you know, this is it. I'm going to start smoking right here, right now, today. And I did. So, in fact, I think you kindly enough let me smoke in your office one time when we were on the air. And I know that you had quit smoking, so I apologize for that. But that was very gracious of you, sir.
Well, I've never been a huge smoker, but cigars and stuff, I've just teetotaled it the whole 9 yards. But we do like to violate the city ordinance on indoor smoking. So we're happy to have that. Happy to have that happen with the nanny state who puts deadly fluoride in our water and doesn't let us opt out of it. But, John, getting serious here,
Yes.
What about the cloud? I mean, I remember knowing now it doesn't let me store my photos on my phone or whatever. It sends it off to this big central hub, and they admit that Google, all of them, data mine the emails, data mine the photos, sell the info in aggregates to the government. It's not just the NSA, it's these big corporations are literally making billions a year. That's why police are going to their own cell phone towers and saying, why should we pay for the data without a warrant from the telecoms?
Absolutely.
And then the telecoms, of course, would not let you get their executives' info. The cops want everybody's info. So there's like a race, a surveillance race going on.
Well, why do you think the cloud is free? Think about it. It costs us nothing to store as much information as we want. Well, there's got to be a reason, because someone's putting the bill for this, and the people want the information in the cloud, because, believe it or not, the cloud is not something which is inaccessible. Anybody can get into it. Anybody can do anything they want. So all the information that you're putting there is available and will stay available. I mean, to save data it costs nothing. I mean, this little device here, this little Hello Kitty thing for kids, you can store over 10,000 King James versions of the Bible on this one little thing. Got the USB connection here, $5. So, of course, everything that we say, everything that we do, all of our videos, all of our images, all of our written words are going to be saved now in perpetuity. Nothing will ever disappear. And you can go back in 1,000 years from now and rehash this conversation and listen to every single word, because saving it costs nothing. It costs nothing. Our technology has become so sophisticated and our engineering so precise that it doesn't cost anything to save anything anymore. So the cloud, we put all of our data there because it's convenient, because I can put it in the cloud and I can access it from another computer, from another state, anytime that I want. Well, unfortunately, Alex, so can anybody else.
Well, that's like these smart houses. On record, the CIA director said everything has spy devices in it, and we're going to control your life with it. And you see these ads where you're in Hawaii on the boat and your house is having a fire and or you can change the air conditioner at your house. The issue is now the globalists can all go through that device and also know what's going on in your house as a tool of social control. It is a total revolution against privacy. I want to give you a quote from 1978 by Philip K. Dick, who wrote Blade Runner and, of course, Scanner Darkly and so many other powerful books that have been made into films, one which film I'm honored enough to be in, Scanner Darkly. There will come a time, this is a quote from Philip K. Dick, there will come a time when it isn't they're spying on me through my phone anymore. Eventually, it will be my phone is spying on me. What a visionary.
That's exactly what's happening. And by the way, Philip K. Dick is my favorite author. And my favorite film of his is Blade Runner, which is actually based on a book of his called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a visionary. And he was absolutely correct. And it is what's happening. This device, they're not spying on me through this device. This device is spying on me. It has its own intelligence, its own chip. It's a computer. It's an intelligent gadget that watches, listens to me, reads my emails, my SMS messages, my contacts, monitors my activities. This device, which each of us carry and we want to carry and we're glad to carry, is spying on us, Alex.
And just like the gift that the Trojans gave was beautiful indeed, it has a lot of legitimate devices and things on it that are very useful tools, and humans love tools. The problem is it's been loaded, in Bill Gates' own words and others, to where it is meant to dominate our lives, be the center of our lives, and condition us, track us, control us as not our guardian angel, but our little guardian devil. It's literally a palantir through which Sauron can stand right next to us every day and watch everything we do. And if you don't put it in airplane mode, when you're not using it, it's there radiating you. And even CBS News admits, doctors are saying, medical doctors, turn them off when you're not using them.
I take my battery out when I'm not using it, just for safety's sake. But yeah, but the most insidious thing, Alex, is not just that it's doing this, but that we like it. We like this device. We're in love with this device. We can't imagine going from home without it. When we're without it, we feel insecure. Oh my God, where's my phone? So that's the most insidious thing. The thing which is our worst enemy, we love the most.
You know, we're living in a science fiction movie where there's these smart devices rolled out by a central government that's already replacing frontline troops with battle droids in South Korea on the DMZ. Almost all the aircraft have already gone autonomous drone. Skynet is now deciding when to launch the missiles. They are openly attacking humans, getting rid of our jobs. The major Foxconn factories are going total human-free. We're being socially engineered through the food and water. And we have these little devices tailored to have everything about us on them and tracking us. And the government is illegally accessing all of it. So are the corporations. And it's all premeditated. Where does it go next?
That's anybody's guess. I mean, it will go where the person in power wants it to go, as always. And it will never go in a positive direction. Once society reaches such a level of decadence where we have these things because they make life easy for us. They make life convenient for us. Nobody wants to do hard work. No one wants to live not 1 second in discomfort. So who knows where it's going? It will go where it goes always, downhill and downhill until total collapse comes. And this is the issue. And this is why I've done the Legalize Freedom campaign. Please, legalize freedom at Blogspot. Legalize Freedom campaign at blogspot.com. Give us some help. Volunteer to do this thing. I'm talking to you people out here now, Alex. Volunteer to use the Freedom of Information Act to find out exactly how much spying is done in your town and let us know so that we can collate this and put it out. Help us out financially if you can. Send us whatever you can to Legalize Freedom at P.O. Box 60, Finger, Tennessee, 383, what is it? 383?
34.
Yeah, 383.
Well, look, and if people don't want to do it through yours, and I think they should, folks should be their own citizen journalist. Mainstream media should be shamed into covering this. I want to explain again. The police, the feds, they already go in bulk data dumps, and they can get basically anything they want from the telecoms. But the telecoms, because they know they can get sued, have cut back on this some the last few years and make them get warrants. And so the feds don't like to share too much with local police with the parallel construction because it's so illegal. And so now the locals with Homeland Security grants, because they both share the data, are putting in every city and town their own cell towers. People call them fake. They're not fake. They're dual cell towers to steal your data, to put out the codes, to be able to put programs on your phone, to take control of it. And remember what happened 5 years ago in Philadelphia and in surrounding areas. It also happened in Sacramento. The 11-year-old girl was getting in and out of the shower. She was eating Skittles. And the school called her in and said, you were taking drugs, we're suspending you. And they said, how did you know? And they said, your laptop. And we have videos of the teachers bragging, yeah, we see the kids at home, we see them undressing, blah, blah, blah. So over the top. If you caught a teacher peeping, Tomming through your window, you could beat him to death and the grand jury would no-bill you. You could kill someone in manslaughter in an act of anger if that happened. But in the webcam gate, the court even ruled that, well, you know what? You got to pay $610,000, but the school said we're not going to stop. And it's ubiquitous, and they were using the cell cams and the laptops to watch everyone. This is what goes on, and they weren't even apologetic. First time I heard of this, John McAfee, was about 14 years ago in Tennessee and then in Missouri. It was in local news in both cases. In one case in Missouri, the middle school girls basketball team came to another town, and they were in the showers and saw cameras in the showers. Now, the normal response would be run out screaming to your parents, panic. But in the 1984, the school came out and said, what's the big deal? Of course, there could be fights in the showers or thefts. And it turned out it was being accessed by people in more than 20 states and by hundreds of law enforcement departments filled with pedophiles wanting to watch prepubescent girls in the shower. Okay, and I mean, folks, this is a total network, and it came out the NSA. They're looking at people and watching people over webcams and stalking people. And of course, if you're Kate Upton, don't you know there's going to be people at the NSA that are going to want to get into your cloud and look at your naked body? I mean, how stupid are people, John McAfee? How dumb are we that it's just that how dare you not like a shower in the 11-year-old girl's bathroom? I mean, how dare you not like cameras in there?
Admittedly, we as a society may not be the smartest in the world, but seriously, Alex, where are the parents? If you're a father of a teenage girl and you find out that someone is watching her in the shower, good God, Alex, why aren't we all out in the streets carrying signs and guns, making sure this never happens again?
They did, and the cops showed up and said it's no big deal. And the people at that school argued with the other parents and said it keeps them safe.
Well, yeah, okay, maybe. But when it happens...
Well, it's the government. If a private citizen did it, you'd freak out because it's government. It's supposedly safe. The founders told us, and history shows, government's the most dangerous. Go ahead.
Well, governments are composed up of individuals, Alex. That's the issue. They're all people. So it's like the Bank of America. They have the right to watch you while you're accessing your account. But what is the Bank of America? It's composed of people. Someone at a lunch hour who works for the Bank of America who is bored going, well, let's go watch this teenage girl take a shower. Come on, get real. If it happened to my child, if I had a 14-year-old child or a 12-year-old child and found out that someone was watching her while she was in my house, in the privacy of the bathroom taking a shower, I would pick up a gun. Why aren't we all doing that? What is wrong with us? What is wrong with the parents? Have you lost all respect for yourself?
It's just, well, I'm telling you, our national symbol should be a guy bending over, grabbing his ankles.
Unfortunately, it's reached that state, Alex. I'm starting to lose faith, not in the future, but in ourselves as a society.
John McAfee, getting back to the cloud, they have designed the architecture of this to be tapped, to be tracked in live time for social engineering. That's admitted. But at the same time, the internet's been exposing the establishment a lot as well. I don't even know if humanity can survive all the stuff that's going to come out of this. I mean, we definitely are strapped into a serious roller coaster here.
Big time. Big time. And it is a double-edged sword. While the internet, the cloud, our new technology is being used to spy on us and to remove our freedoms, it's also, Alex, giving us the opportunity to express ourselves and to utilize the few freedoms we have left. I'd like to say this before I forget it. We spoke about parents not caring whether their children are being watched. Surely, as parents, as loving human beings, you must care about the world that you are leaving to your children. Your children have to live in this world that is increasingly constrained, increasingly less free, a world where privacy is diminishing to the point that it is disappearing. If you love your children, for Christ's sake, do something. Do something. I just have to say this, Alex. I feel like I'm alone up here on a soapbox and people are looking the other way. It's frustrating.
No, they're not. Listen, people are really concerned. They're really awake now. But it is make it or break it, because we either now start reversing this and people start getting in trouble, or we've set the precedent that we live in the opposite of an unsurveilled society. And it's not to keep us safe. Go ahead.
And it's not just the lack of privacy and the fact that we have surveillance. We sit back blindly while police kill innocent children and get away with it. And this has got to stop, Alex. Again, if we have any sense of humanity, if we have a grain of grace left, surely, if we don't.
Well, government across the board is becoming more and more unaccountable. But if you look at the feds militarizing police and then using the bad actions of the police to federalize them further, or if you look at how they now admit all over the country, they pull you over and you got cash, no drugs, they take your cash. When cops became robbers was one headline I saw this week. People are really starting to understand that as well, how far we've fallen. We have. And I have a friend who was traveling through Texas with a fair amount of cash. Well, legal cash. I mean, you work for money, you take money, you put it in your pocket. And they charged this person with money laundering, for Christ's sakes, because it was cash. Well, at least they charged him. In most of the cases, they don't even come up with a fake charge. They just take the money.